Okay, so I am done fighting in Poland in 1939, so we have pushed forward the clock to it is now May of 1940, and the Battle of France and the Low Countries is about to begin, or is beginning. So the earliest scenario I have for this period, since I'm playing my battles in chronological order, is a Command Ops Steam. I think this is a user made battle that I got off the Steam Workshop, which is representing the Battle of Hannut, fought on the 12th to the 13th of May, 1940. What this is, I think this is one of the first clashes between the French and the German forces. This is, I think, kind of around central Belgium. This is the German attack going in through the north, through Belgium, obviously, and now running into the French forces is part of the kind of the diversionary attack to tie up the Allies in the north, while the main thrust goes through the Ardennes. So it actually turns out probably doesn't matter how well I do in this scenario from a strategic standpoint, no matter which side I play as. But I'm assuming that I won't know that as the commander, so I'm going to try my hardest to win this thing. Um, yeah, this is a couple of French mechanized divisions are clashing with the Germans. Actually did send a couple of, they sent most of their tank divisions through the Ardennes, but they did send a couple into Belgium, and they just so happened to clash into the main French tank units. The French did have some, like, I guess a lot of their tanks were spread out among the infantry divisions. Some of them were concentrated into mechanized and armored divisions, and these two German tank divisions just happened to crash into these two um, French armored divisions here, or mechanized divisions. The true tank divisions are further south. Um, so this is going to be like the biggest armored clash, the first major armored clash so far in human history. Obviously, there will be bigger ones later on in the war, but up to this point in human history, this is the biggest. So I will be playing as the Allies once again. I think I am going to, um, as a general rule, play as the Allies, just so I don't have to think about which side to play as. Most of the time, just kind of rule of thumb, play as the Allies, unless the scenario description says there isn't an AI plan for the Germans in this scenario, so please play as the Germans. In those cases, I'll play as the Germans, and also if the Germans have an elite formation present that the AI probably can't handle particularly well, in that case, then I'll play as the Axis. But for the most part, I think I'm going to main the Allies in all these battles. Uh, and description there, which I'm not going to bother reading out loud, but if you really want to, you can pause and read it. So, let's get this thing started and see what the initial situation is. Oh, I did press record. Oh, apparently didn't like being sent to the background there, mid-battle, and I do have, oh, yeah, it does look like, gotta make sure I'm using the right recording method on OBS, because if I was using, some of them won't pick up these extra little dialogue boxes. Okay. So my forces seem to be pretty much scattered along this line here. The town of Hannut itself doesn't actually have anyone occupying it. There's no objective there, so I don't, strictly speaking, have to occupy it, although it does have major roads leading to it, meaning that I might actually want to occupy it. Um, I think I will try to move forward. This is a very armor heavy unit. Oh, this is S-35s, possibly the one actually good tank that the French have in this at this point. I mean, their tanks are they can do the job at this point. I think the R-35 that showed up, I had a couple of R-35s in Polish service that helped me out in my last battle in Poland, and they fared reasonably well until they were destroyed. Their guns are good enough to deal with the Panzer 35Ts that I was mostly dealing with, and can punch through the frontal armor of a Panzer III at like point blank range if they're very lucky. The S-35s, they have a slightly bigger gun, the 47 millimeter AP, and there we go. Performance. Yeah, that's enough armor penetration to get through Panzer III easy. Um, okay, so that's just a straight up tank battalion. Whopping 84 AFVs, not much in the way of personnel or other kinds of support. I will. Okay. Gotta watch the way these French units are organized. Okay, this is an interesting battalion. Okay, so there's the battalion HQ. We have a cavalry unit there. That seems to be equipped mainly with motorcycles. Tank unit there, equipped with H-35s. And okay, mortar platoon, anti-tank platoon, and 2 infantry companies. That is a very interesting organization. I don't think I've seen battalions organized quite like that before. Okay. How do I want to do this? I have decided I want to move forces into Hannut to secure it. I think we're gonna have a number of battalions that are like this one. They're just tanks. And this is... I don't see any units attached to this battalion here that aren't a tank company. This regiment has a mix of various types of support assets. Oh, it has its own supply base, organic to... Oh, no, that's a brigade. Organic to the brigade. I don't think I want to be giving orders direct to the brigade. It'll take too long for those to get executed. Tanks will be able to move pretty quickly. But they don't have a whole lot in the way of other supporting arms. There we go. That battalion, curious as its organization may be, does have a whole slew of diverse supporting arms, meaning it should be able to handle most kinds of threats. So I do want to make sure I have someone still just hanging around on top of that objective. Oh, and I need to reactivate the range rings each time. I should move that artillery battalion forward anyway, just so that the enemy's a little bit more in range. Yeah, I'm deciding I do want to try to hang on to the town, mainly because there are these 2 major roads going through it that the enemy will uh, no doubt take to, reach these other objectives. And occupying the town seems like a good centralized point to mount a defense. And, urban terrain, that's not bad for defense. And these are tanks. They don't do quite as well in urban terrain. I believe both sides, we both, myself and the Germans, have around 600 armored vehicles. Um, I think the Germans may have a somewhat more healthy mix of infantry interspersed with their tanks. Well, I don't have a shortage of infantry. Oh, what's going on there? Did OBS fail? Nope, still recording. Looks good. Not sure what that was about. Some background process had issues, but it doesn't seem to have affected anything. Okay, I think most of these forces I want to kind of leave where they are. That we don't have a terribly strong frontal defense anywhere the Germans hit. I won't be terribly strong at that point, but I've got a fair amount of depth here, or a decent amount anyway, and major roads leading anywhere. I should be able to react to wherever they come. And of course, I don't. I might have enough troops to form a solid line, but it would be a thin crust of a line. Better to leave them at their current deployment and then mass wherever the Germans hit me. This being sort of armored and mechanized unit, we should be able to react pretty quickly to wherever troubles arise. I do want to restore a little bit of the depth that I'll be losing by ordering some of these forces into Hannut. Okay, let's go ahead and get this started. We don't have crystal clear information on any of the enemy dispositions at the moment. How long is it going to take for them to execute that order? It is going to start in about an hour. They'll start moving there, which is actually pretty good. Yeah, they've already got the route planned out now. Some of these guys I might want to move a little bit farther forward. Moving into secure that town might not be the worst idea. If I give an order to this battalion, that company, I'm going to order this company to detach, right? There's a specific button for that. Because where they are, they're in a good position to make sure the enemy doesn't, say, take these back roads and outflank me. Maybe I should move some of these guys forward. Yeah, I will move them just a little bit forward there. All around defense for now. The enemy could decide to come up through that way. They might take that road around there, but that should be within range. Oh, right, it's early in the morning still. Wait, sun should be... Huh. Low visibility everywhere on the battlefield right now. There's clear skies. Yeah, okay. We'll see if visibility improves. Oh, there we go. Oh, yeah, there we go. Yeah, visibility just improved. Like, all at once. Oh, they are racing for Hannut. Can I... the order isn't going to execute in time. Order is going to execute at 6:23. That's going to end up being an attack move. Alright. My forces are on the move. I think we have more forces locally than they do. So we should have a considerable advantage. What are we looking at here? It's a recon force. So that's armored cars there in that formation, and a whole lot of armored cars in that formation. Looks like 52 armored fighting vehicles between them. I will wait for them to come to a stop before ordering artillery against them, but ordering artillery against them is going to be the next step. Oh, these tank units do move a lot faster. Oh yeah, 100% mobility for everything. Okay, I did make it to the town first. That's good. I was worried for a minute. These guys are near the road, so they can react fairly quickly. Everyone is on a road of some sort, even if they're not on a major highway. That'll give them pretty good mobility, ability to react to just about any threat that shows up. You guys aren't on a road, but you are. Oh, yes, you are. There's a... Those guns have finished moving. Speed up time a little bit. Now that we have direct contact with those guys, let's go ahead and... That might be a little danger close. Back that artillery off a little bit. Oh, yeah, we did inflict some AFE casualties there. Yeah, there's the rectangle with a single slash across it is the symbol representing cavalry. Nowadays that means armored cavalry of some sort. Cavalry units still exist, but they generally don't go riding around on horses anymore, and it's generally considered a recon role at this point. Is one of the traditional jobs of cavalry on the battlefield is reconnaissance. Okay. Do have a lot of armored vehicles. If I do end up losing this, I will not be able to blame a lack of tanks. Infantry companies still don't have any anti-armor weapons. That's to be expected for this stage of the war. Don't have an image of the 47mm anti-tank gun here, but performance there looks like it's probably good enough to take out enemy tanks. At this point in time. Okay, yeah, we're getting first blood in. Okay, yeah, that is all tanks there. Ooh, 25mm AT guns. They're These AT guns are so small that if you were to remove the bullet shield, they almost look like really big anti-tank rifles. But they are cheap and quick to manufacture, they are highly mobile, and their armor penetration is good enough to get through anything the Germans can throw at them at this time. Maybe just barely in the case of Panzer III and IV, but you know, at close range, like point blank, it can get through them, and it'll easily get through Panzer Is, IIs, Panzer 38Ts, Panzer 35Ts. We have a serious German attack coming in here. Just have single tank company there. But it does look like their main focus for the time being is the town of Hannut. So that's going to turn out to be good instincts to try and contest it. I would like to finally win the battle. See if I can manage that this time. I don't have anyone sitting on that objective. Yes. You get down there. Maybe somewhat overkill to pour this much artillery on a single recon company at this point, but part of what I'm doing is just identifying all the artillery assets that are at my disposal here. Hmm. These guns a little bit closer to the front. But yeah, that's a not insignificant amount of artillery I can call on. So 5mm guns. Ooh. 105mm guns. 105mm guns. So it's mostly light artillery. Got some more medium range guns there. Alright, and enemy tanks are on the way. So in Poland, I was facing predominantly Panzer Is and IIs. They made up the majority of the German armored force in Poland. Panzer Is and IIs are still making up a significant portion of the German armored force, but no longer an overwhelming majority. Now they're making up like half of the German armor, and the other half is a mix of the Panzer 35Ts and Panzer 38Ts and the Panzer 3s and 4s, which the Germans actually want to be making up the majority of their armored forces. They just, production isn't up there yet. So I am going to be getting charged by a whole mess of those. Okay, so this company here has a mix of Panzer 3s and 4s. This one has a mix of Panzer 2s and 4s. Mix of just about everything. Panzer 1s and 2s. Mix of everything. Panzer 1s and 2s. I'm thinking I'm going to want to use these tanks. I'm going to wait, though, until these guys get all bunched up here and committed to attacking my forces in Hannut. Then I'm going to launch these guys in a flank attack. Don't want to commit them too quickly, though. And get you a little bit closer. You're just in range. Out of range, you're out of range. In range. So half of these artillery battalions are not in range to actually help out here. Oh, it actually turns out my intelligence was wrong. That's mostly Panzer Is and IIs. And we are wrecking them. We are defending an urban environment. I think we have anti-tank guns here somewhere? Or is it just the tanks working in an anti-tank role? They're on the move. These guys self-propelled. They're moving pretty quick. Oh. There. Oh, I gotta stop right-clicking. That doesn't mean what I think it means in this game. Okay. If you organize there. And attack there. Distance shortest. Be aggressive. Take as long as... Continue the attack as long as it takes. Start at 10:30. Gives the Germans some time to get a little bit... to become a somewhat better target. Okay. So we have a lot of pretty mediocre H-35s, or subpar H-35s, and a handful of pretty good by French standards S-35s. Oh, and we get them pouring through that way. Let's get a response up. I mainly want to give orders to battalions and regiments. I'm giving orders to brigades or divisions. The response time is going to be too slow. Yeah, it looks like I need to get over there. Yeah, I should... Nope, damn it. Save my artillery ammo for for a decisive moment. Don't want to just be spraying artillery fire haphazardly. I'll manage to inflict some casualties doing it that way, but what I want to do is use my artillery at a decisive moment to break up an attack or um, uh, drive off enemy defenders. Over here might have been a better spot to tell my artillery to move to. That's closer to a bunch of roads that I can use to move the artillery around even more. Okay, I have a fair amount of artillery. That order will take a minute to start getting executed. These guns, they just have HE rounds, no AP rounds for them. I want to take forces away from that defense, but I do want to see if I can move these guys somewhere useful. Like, I guess up this way somewhere. I believe historically the French did fight the Germans to a standstill here. It ultimately didn't matter because this wasn't the Germans' main thrust, but alright, I'm gonna drop a whole bunch of artillery right down there at the same time. Okay, we're inside the range rings for pretty much everyone. Especially that one. Very edgy apples range. Ooh, nice. Apparently good timing on that. No, friendly's in the way, preventing the bombardment from going any further. This is 25mm guns. Doing good work, probably. And these guys do not have any anti-armor weapons at all, as far as I know. Oh, Panzerbefehlwagen. Actually spotted one of those in my earliest battle, and didn't know what it was. The command tank. Panzer II Aus A? Huh. Thought they were mostly Aus C by this point. Or, by any point actually during the war. Oh, I have an airstrike available. Where to use it? Those will disappear if I don't actually make use of them. And I haven't, okay, I didn't get any earlier airstrikes that I hadn't noticed. Guess I will use them. These enemy tanks out in the... Oh, that was actually not a good move. But hopefully the pilot will be able to find... No, they're gone. Okay, not the best used airstrike I ever had. I should have had used him here. Oh, okay, the pilot did find what I was looking for there. Bit too late to change their orders, possibly. That's what that group needs. Some anti-tank guns. Hope that barrage knocks out some of those tanks. It's not something I can get my... Oh, I think this area of control shrank a little bit. Usually means some damage has been done. Didn't look like it, though. Generally can't really get your hopes up about artillery actually... No, it did knock out a couple. But you can't get your hopes up too much about artillery actually knocking out a whole lot of enemy tanks. Because the side armor of the tanks is plenty good to protect against the kind of shell fragments that are going to take out infantry. So you really need a direct hit right on top of the on top of the armor for the high explosive right up next to the armor. Might be able to get through the top armor. In fact, generally will be able to get through the top armor, which is where it's thinnest. Okay, you need to get out of there. No rest. You don't have any high explosive rounds. Or any armor-piercing rounds. So, out of there. And provide some support. Artillery is a cornerstone of French doctrine at this point in time. And where they weren't outmaneuvered by the Germans, they were actually able to use it to some good effect. Keep blasting away at that tank company until they leave us alone. Not a good route to take. Okay, that's a lot of German tanks. That's 14th Army Corps. We're dispersing them here. Oh yeah, they've taken heavy damage. And take a little bit more time to actually succeed in the mission. That's glorious. It's a packed target area there. Missed any further airstrikes? No, I've only had the one so far. Well, they're so packed together. Let's keep hitting them. Why not? I'm gonna make such a juicy target for my artillery. I don't want to pass that up. Not using this guy because that battalion has problems of their own at the moment. Hoping these guys can come to their rescue, or maybe these guys. Or maybe they can retreat in time. That's a battalion command, battalion HQ. Keep the artillery fire up. One downside to centralized control of the artillery is you're not paying attention, the guys who need it don't get it. Doing alright on ammo for the time being. They're out of AFVs. Some good progress on that already. We destroyed a unit. It's their anti-tank guns. Hopefully my artillery can take some of them out, because they pose a grave threat to me. S-35s, S-35s, S-35s. That is just good enough. Do I need to start? Oh, okay, they've shot up to the top there. Lost that cavalry unit. Let's have you... I want you to fall back somewhere where you'll be safe. I don't think any such place exists. I think this is going to be the main fight here. I want to keep those anti-tank guns under pressure. Oh, airstrike. Send the airstrike. Get the nice little clump there. This round of bombardment. I'm going to try to get these guys to back off a little bit. Yeah, and I guess... I am burning through my artillery ammunition pretty quickly, as one would expect. Given how I'm using it. We are having some effect on the enemy, though. I am going to continue keep the artillery fire hot until I run out, until the tubes are dry. And hopefully we'll get some resupply in the night. Try to shift the artillery's priorities around the hot zones. Major fighting at the moment is over here, but it's heating up over here. Oh wow, a lot of their armored companies are a lot weaker than I would think. And I think that is because they have taken some heavy losses at my hands. This attack here is going in. I want to leave those guys up there for now. Artillery fire will be most effective, of course, where I can concentrate a whole bunch of it on a whole big mass of them. So, definitely do the most damage here. A little bit of ammo to support this attack once it actually starts crashing into the enemy. Almost exhausted. Oh, not quite. Keep these ones firing over here. Yeah, that battalion has plenty of ammo. It's received a resupply. That's not good. We'll be getting reinforcements eventually. AT guns are doing good work down here. Doing significant damage to the enemy. Is 5.8% casualties inflicted on the enemy so far. But we're not even done with day one. It's a 2-day battle. Just about exhausted most of my artillery ammunition, but I still have a little bit to go. Really use up every last shell. Don't want to leave any doubt or any impression that the artillery could have been used more. I'm gonna max out the potential for the artillery. If I have a single shell left by the time the battle is over, resupplies included, then I didn't use the artillery enough. We'll run the artillery dry and then wait for resupply. Most of these battalions are just about empty, should be empty after this bombardment. This battalion still has plenty of rounds left to fire. Oh! This battalion has plenty of rounds left to fire. They, have just about finished... Well, no, they haven't finished retreating, but they're out of immediate danger. Moment. I think I'm going to increase the speed of the battle now. That's nice. We still have current sightings? Yes. These softer infantry are actually the better targets for the artillery. Ooh, it's a really large formation. Oh! Not quite doing exactly what I'd asked them. I think I wanted them to attack across the river from where they were, but yeah, that's good enough. That still fulfills the spirit of what I wanted them to do. What I was hoping they'd do was hit these guys in the flank and or rear, but reinforcing the front, that'll work too. That's good enough. Let's really hammer those softer infantry there. Yeah, there's still a little bit of artillery ammo left in some of these. Use up every last round and hit them with everything I've got. I'll wait till these guys have retreated before I have them start Ah, start hitting them again. Really take French artillery doctrine to heart to the extreme here. Make it work. That is... Battle results so far are actually looking pretty good. Ooh, that would have been a good target. Now, next bombardment. You know, I'm feeling pretty good about my chances here. Alright, these guys aren't as tightly packed, but I think... I'll keep the bombardments up here. Three of these armored companies have taken over 50% casualties. Alright, 1800. Things always slow down a little bit at 1800. Not actually firing. Well, I've given them orders to fire. I'm moving them back a little further. Okay. Actually doing pretty good in tank losses here. Oh! They've gotten a resupply. Yeah. Oh. Main target I wanted to hit moved. Do want to bomb the crap out of 4th Panzer HQ. Oh, sighting age is a little old. They might not be there anymore. Sighting age on those? No. Ah! Destroyed that German infantry company there. Betting information is good. Oh, that's right. 14th Army Corps, brethren. 4th Panzer Division. Alright. 14th Army Corps is an even juicier target than the 2nd Panzer. So we're gonna bomb 4th Panzer Division. Eh. I managed to do some pretty significant damage to them. And they're gonna making a big push from the north. I think I'm gonna set up an attack mission going that way, to that position there. I don't expect them to be there anymore by the time we get there. I'm expecting what's going to happen is they're going to end up moving there and then turn south to hammer and anvil the enemy. Start in about an hour or so if they'll start moving. Oof. Enemy is not having an easy time of it. Oh. Yeah, that is outside of effective range for them at the moment. Hey, only one anti-tank gun left in that AT gun company. Yeah, fantastic. They're moving around faster than my artillery barrage is gonna be able to hit them on this road. Alright, I think I'm going to lay off the artillery for the rest of the day. And let resupplies permit heavier bombardments tomorrow. Enemy artillery has come into action. Yeah, forget what I said about not using any more artillery today. I am going to get some counter battery fire in. This will be the last barrage of the day. Oh, here has plenty of ammo to spare. And they're actually shooting. Yay. Ah, not exactly the route I had in mind. I should have specified shortest route. They are by default taking the quickest route. This actually might work out better, though. Okay. Getting enough artillery supply that be able to put up a very heavy barrage indeed tomorrow. Most of the fighting is down here at the moment, I think. I think the actual exchange of fire is over here. And that is day one. So far in the battle, I estimate that I have inflicted 9.86% casualties on the enemy. Almost 10% losses, which is enough to qualify as heavy casualties. And there's one more day left of the battle. I bet I can hit him even harder. I'm thinking I might actually win this. But yeah, I'll see you in day two.